8:44. A little bit late getting out of there tonight. I wanted to talk to James and Dominic a little bit right after Drebin's race, and then just before I left. Now, I had somebody message me say you should have drove Drebin also. It wouldn't have changed anything. I could see what was taking place with Drebin. And we talked about, I talked to James about it. Now, a lot went on with Drebin. We qualified him without hobbles. He's plenty fast without them, but he gets a little warm, and he was interfering, and we put the hobbles on him. The problem with the hobbles is sometimes they're going to draw them closer to their knees, and then that might push them into their jacks. And all of the above, worst case scenario, happened. So the good news is that all of this is fixable. Addressing it, understanding it, understanding the issue. As they say, the first step to fixing a problem is understanding you have a problem. So, whoa, you ever light this place up? Goodness. So Drebin, watching the race, I watched him get away. He was quiet at the gate. So mission accomplished. We got him settled down, quiet, and moving forward. Now, the only problem is, James said, now this might sound very familiar to everybody. James said he just got to the turn. He said, I could feel him waiting to get to the turn. And you know, your first inclination is, oh, he's being smart. He's slowing down and he's going to trot through the turn. But what he was doing was he was just sizing the turn up, and he made a break as soon as he got into it. And what I mean by that is, and the reason I say it like that is because it's exactly what happened with Gypsy Hill, right? Trained him down without hobbles. We debated whether we were going to qualify him without them. I don't think we did qualify him without them. No, I don't think we did. But it's the same thing. Come to the turn and make a break, right? You have that mental lapse, right? And I don't want you to draw too many parallel lines between Drebin and Gypsy Hill, because they have totally different gaits. Gypsy Hill, we got him out of his knees because he wasn't interfering as bad behind. Drebin does get to a knee, and because of that, he's more inclined to get to a hind shin, to get to a jack. So then you anchor him down with the hobbles a little bit, he's more inclined to get to a knee and get to a jack, which he did. And now you get him in a position where he gets to the turn, he also starts to box up his gait a little bit, touches a knee, touches a jack, I don't want to play tonight, and he rolls off. Now, the remedy for that, there's a number of ways. We did tinker with Gypsy Hill shoeing, and we'll do the same thing with Drebin. Now, as it was fresh in my mind, and Dominic's and James's, Emily, the caretaker of Drebin, her boyfriend, or husband now, my apologies, Emily, her husband, Preston, is our blacksmith in Ontario. Sharp guy. He was there at the horse. We picked up his shoes and looked at his shoes. He's due to be shod, but I think understanding what he did and looking at how to remedy it was a good conversation. Now, I need you to understand, just because I say, oh, don't worry about it, we can fix it, doesn't mean we're going to first go around. What I did say to Dominic was, you do have to work him through it. What I saw was the same mental lapses that we saw with Gypsy Hill, and it takes work. I believe you should qualify the horse on Monday, jog him, work him. Now, he's got to get shod tomorrow, so now you're getting shod Friday and qualifying Monday. That's an added wrinkle, but one you're going to have to overcome. Add a little bit of weight to him, if you can. Now, this was an important part of the conversation. I said to James, when he hits his knee, is he going at his knee, or is it incidental? Is he just kind of brushing it on the way by? He said he's almost over it, which is important, and he just kind of hits that point of the knee. I said that's important because if we add some weight, just a couple of sets of bell boots, we'll trim them up. And the reason I want to trim them up is because for those of you that know what I'm talking about, when you put the bell boots on, you know, more times than not, they'll hang right to the ground, right? They'll be right on the ground. And when the horses are walking, you know, the bell boot hits first. There's too much there. And for sure, when you have knee boots on and rubber bell boots, that's why I always say it's a driver's no-no to have bell boots and knee boots. It always bothered me, but when I'm looking at Drebin and I'm hearing James say that he just hits the point of that knee, if we just trim that bell boot up about that much from below the ground, it still protects the bulb of his foot, but it adds some weight on there. And when he hits that knee, he'll likely hit it with the toe or the side of the foot. He's less likely to come right up and just full on grab that knee with the flush part of the bell boot. Now, that's not to say he won't. So I had this conversation with James just on alert also. We plan on, I believe, putting a couple sets of bell boots on, trimming them up will be the way to go. You're going to have to warm him up on Monday and see what you feel. James is like, nah, I don't like him like that. Well, then by all means, go ahead and change him. I believe if we change his shoes behind and put the same shoes on that we have on Gypsy Hill behind, add the couple of sets of bell boots to him up front, and they got his head up, and Dominic was the one that said it. He said with his head up a little bit, he likes it a little bit lower, but he could pull. He said, now that we have that chain in his mouth, do you think we could let his head down? Because with his head up, he's more apt to get to his knees. And he's 100% correct. He is more apt to get to his knees. You're not likely getting him over his knees. So let's try to mitigate that. Heighten his comfort level and reduce his stress. And part of that will be trying to get him out of that shin, that jack, that knee. That will lower his stress also. What I think you're going to see on Monday, if all goes well, he's shod well and he's feeling good, what will go on Monday is you'll see him go out, be a little warm, but cool down right away. And if you see him comfortable the first 3/8 of the mile at Mohawk, through that first turn into the backstretch, what that tells me is everything we've done is working. So he's going to go to the qualifiers on Monday, and I was really, really happy. When I heard James talk, and then I we were looking at his shoes and we're watching the replay of the horse, I'm happy that I was there, and I'm not happy that he made a break. But I mean, put it to you this way, if he doesn't make a break tonight, it's a totally different conversation. How was he? Yeah, he's at his knee, he's at his jack, but he wasn't too bad. We're less apt to make any changes. But when he goes out and makes a break, and then I see what he's doing and hear James and Dominic talk about him, I think we formulated a pretty good plan for Drebin moving forward. So although it sucks that he has to qualify, without that break tonight, I don't think we get to where we are, and I think where we're going to be with him is a much better place. Now, ready for landing, much the same. I told you guys I went home. He trained very hard on Saturday, 2-1 at first line, and then went another slow mile on Tuesday. And I told Dom, we're not guidance counselors. We're not here to listen. It's time to race. It's time to work. It's time to get the job done. And that's what it's like with the horses, right? There's a time to push, and there's a time not to. Now we're heading into May. If we think he's any sort of stake horse, now's the time to start seeing it come out. And he may have made a break tonight, but he was going to do it moving forward, not moving backward. And I had a great conversation with him after. James puts him on the gate because he says he settles for him. Every driver's different, and I'm certainly in no position to tell James McDonald how to drive a horse. But my feeling with Ready for Landing is, and he's right in a sense, I did pull his hobbles in a little bit in the post-braid tonight because I didn't want him to run, but I like him coming into the gate, coming forward. Right, and that's just me. Before, I didn't like doing that with him because he's more apt to make a mistake. He would charge the gate and put himself on the run. So we did kind of bring him up half into position and just hold him there best we could. Now he's smarter. Now he's a much smarter horse. He charged at the gate, but I could have dropped him in. I'm glad that two-hole popped open right away, but I'm like, I don't want to rush right into that two-hole because if I get him twisted around on that line pole, he's going to make a break. So we changed the head pole to a line pole, and he did wear that dog chain in his mouth tonight. He came out of the gate. What I like about Ready for Landing is he's still really rough around the edges, but there is a good horse in there. You can see that without a doubt tonight now. But what I like about him is when you get him in a hole, he's polite. I didn't want to get, you guys know how we train, nose to helmet all the time, but I didn't want to get him in a stressful situation. So I was surprised that Louis just kept rolling his horse along. It made things easy for me. All I had to do was just let him float because I couldn't really catch up to him without putting him into gear. Around the last turn, he trotted the last turn great. And when we come out of the turn, I actually thought I was going to run him down for a second. But Ready for Landing never stopped coming the whole way down the lane. 54-1 is a big mile for a horse. It's never been that kind of speed before. Not in that way. For him to leave 27-4 from the outside and then still be coming at the wire in 54-1 shows that there is a nice horse in there. It's going to take a little polish, but I'll tell you what it did do. It opened the conversation as to what about New Jersey, the first part of May. Before it wasn't. It was, come on, do we got a horse? I said to Dominic when I come off the track, there's a good horse in there, but he's every bit as close to being a good horse and a useful horse as being a little crazy and a little hard to deal with. Tonight, I saw a very nice horse in there. That's the Ready for Landing that we've been trying to get to, right? And it's not easy. You guys, it wasn't just me coming over here. The only reason I thought that I had to be here tonight for him, well, for you and for him, was that after the rodeo last week from Jody, right? It's only human nature. You're not going to get a fair spin from Jody. That's nothing to do with Jody, but after him losing his mind behind the gate, Jody's going to be super cautious with him. I trained him on Saturday. I know the horse is fine. He's much better with that chain in his mouth. He's behaved. He's smarter. He's more focused. But I can't convey that in a way that Jody's just going to completely trust me. That would be unrealistic. And then if you put anybody else on the horse that's not James, they're going to do their homework and say, hey, Jody, what about Ready for Landing? Oh, my God, he lost his mind behind the gate last week, and he's really hot. And, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, do what you want. Then there's the rapport that I do have with Ready for Landing. He knows me. I know him. Just saw him on Saturday. So it worked out well. And I don't care about the 4 hours. I don't care that I'm getting home at 1 o'clock. And it wasn't about the money. It was about getting our horses moving forward. And I'm happy to do it whenever I can. But as I said, you know, hopefully James drives that horse next week. Now that same horse is going to be in there again. So I don't know what's going to happen next week. But if push comes to shove and I have to be here and I can be here, you can be sure I will be here. I'm doing the best I can for everybody. And, you know, I was just happy that Ready for Landing raced well. And although it sounds stupid, I'm kind of happy Drebin made a break, because now we know exactly the direction we're heading in and how we want to pivot and how we want to see him look on Monday. James knows, Dominic knows, I know. So now we have a plan of attack and we can get the proper feedback we need on Monday. So I'm not disappointed at all. So overall, it was a great night. Texan Soprano was very good again. Scotty drove him good, gave him a chance, ended up first over, just nipped at the wire for second and raced fantastic. Another, you know, a horse we don't nearly talk about enough. One of the best horses we have in the barn. And then later on, we have Victory Blue Chip racing in about an hour, 40 minutes or so. So I'll give you the update on Victory Blue Chip tomorrow, but I wanted to talk to you about the horses tonight. A great day at the office. I was very happy with the babies, very happy with the racehorses tonight. Just a good day, right? Not a get the champagne and you know, we'll go out to dinner type of day, but a good day at the office. So I'll talk to you guys soon. If you have any questions, got about 4 hours to answer them. So if you have any questions or any emails, well, don't email me, but if you do have any questions, you can text me and I'll answer them when I stop for gas, or you can call me on my phone, 519-400-4263. Happy to discuss anything ongoing in the barn or that went on today. Have a wonderful night, the rest of your night, what's left of it, and I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.